Hens may be stupid, but they makes a damn good job of an egg. It's all inside there, you know. How do I like mine? In threes. Best food money can buy, eggs are. They're full of vitamins, you know, but I eat them for enjoyment. I'll get a good day's work out of this here lot. You get your share of eggs, and you can't go far wrong. They're good value now, you know. Look for the little lion. That means your eggs are nice and fresh. Little brown Bessie lives in a pen, and she lays eggs for gentlemen. Come on, take your fingers out of it. You like your grampy feeding you, don't you? Because he gives you plenty of eggs. Oh, she's a terror for eggs, this one, you know. She'd eat mine and all if she got the chance, wouldn't you? There's a good girl. You give them one egg every day, and they can't go far wrong. Look for the little lion. That means your eggs is nice and fresh. I reckon a dozen of these is as good as a joint of beef any day. But not a dozen at a time, mind. Three's enough to be going on with. We calls these Wendover eggs. That's pretty near hard-boiled, and then a nice chunk of butter and all chopped up together. They're laying like billy-o now, you know, so of course they're nice and cheap. They're that good I eats them where I stands. Ooh. Just look for the little lion. That means they're nice and fresh. I like this time of year. I do. Well, snowdrops and crocuses are springing up. Ah, and eggs. Did you know this is the best time of year for them? I bet you didn't. But they're not only plentiful, they're a wonderful buy. You know what these are, don't you? So do I. And I knows what to do with them. That's the best value money can buy. Look for the little lion. That means your eggs is nice and fresh. We had a lady come down from London yesterday, giving us a lecture. She was telling us what we ought to eat and why. What a lot of nourishment there is in eggs. I hollered out, no need to tell me that, lady. I've been living on them for the past 50 years. I did. I had them all laughing there. Well, it's only common sense, isn't it? That's the most wonderful food you can buy. Just look for the little lion. That means they're nice and fresh. As full of... As full of meat as an egg. Do you know who said that? Old Bill Shakespeare. Romeo and Juliet, Act 3, Scene 1, line 20. You go and look. Oh, Shakespeare knew what he was talking about. I'll tell you another thing he said and all. Look for the little lion on him. I've made a New Year's resolution. None of my family is going out in the mornings without a couple of eggs inside them. Come on, you lot, breakfast. Look for the little... Blimey, they're hot. Ah, they're nice and fresh, too. I know I'm going to get into trouble for what I'm going to say now, but I'm going to say it. Not more than one woman out of 10 knows how to scramble an egg properly, so I'm going to show you. Don't do them in the saucepan. Put them in a little bowl, then put the bowl in a saucepan of boiling water. That way you'll do them slower and you won't have to scour the pan. It's easy, isn't it? Some of you might think this is a bit dainty for me, but there's 3 darn good eggs in there and 3 little lions, just like him. She's come on a bit since you see her last. Only 18 months, you know. Here, come on. Of course, it's not for me to tell you mothers how to look after your own children, but personally speaking, I gives this one egg a day, and I feeds it to her. A bit in there. Hmm? What a set of teeth, too. Here, look at them arms. Look at that. Solid woman. Ooh, that's all eggs in there. An egg a day. That's what you wants to give your kids. I hear there's been a lot of arguing going on about what makes a natural break on the telly. Well, speaking for myself, I don't think you'll ever find a more natural break than what this here is. Here, I've been teaching her to talk. And do you know the first word I taught her? What's that?
Eggy.
Eggy. There you are. Now I'm teaching her to look for the little lion. There he is, sweetheart. Look, there he is. Here, when I wants to do myself a bit of good, do you know what I do? I has 3 fried eggs on a plate full of chips. Square meal for 2 bob. Square meal for 2 bob. And I get some change back. I still like some in 3s, except when I'm hungry. And I'm starving now. Do you know my old ma always used to break her eggs into a little bowl first? Did yours? To make sure they was good? But all these little lion eggs is good. Well, they've all been properly tested, you see, you know, graded and candled and all that. That's got to be done to make sure they're first-class eggs. My little mate here sees to that, and his mate, the farmer. She loves her breakfast egg, you know. And she's got as fine an egg there as money can buy. Better than you could have bought a year or 2 back. Do you know why? It's a lion egg. The farmers gets them into the shops quicker, and they've all been properly tested to see they're fresh and safe for a little girl as must have her morning egg. Well, our little mate sees to that, doesn't he? And his mate, the farmer. Your egg marketing people don't half keep us on the hop, you know. They hardly gives the chickens time to lay the eggs. Well, it's quite understandable, I suppose. You see, every lion egg has to go and be candled, tested and graded. Because the egg farmers have pledged themselves that every single lion egg that comes to your table shall be a first-class egg. And they are, too. My little mate here sees to that, and his mate, the farmer. Here, did you read about that fella who's been rubbing the little lions off his eggs and flogging them for a bob a dozen extra? He reckoned he hadn't had a single complaint inside 2 years. Well, of course he hadn't. With every egg selected, graded and tested, he couldn't go far wrong, could he? He was on a good wicket, I reckon. But you make sure that every egg you buy has a little lion stamped on it. That means they're really good eggs. Well, my little mate here sees to that, and his mate, the farmer. Here, what's the difference between a farm egg and a shop egg? A shop egg is a farm egg, only it's had to go through this little lion test, you see, somewhat like the 11 plus. The eggs go straight from the chicken to the testing station and then straight into the shops. Because the farmers and these here egg people is set on one thing. Every egg that bears this lion stamp has got to be a real good egg. And they are, too. Thanks to my little mate here, and his mate, the farmer. Good morning, Mrs. Shopkeeper. How much is your eggs today?
These are a penny and these are a pound.
Bad as old Fred Turpin down the market, you know. He always sets his cabbages out in two separate piles, one marked a tanner and the other marked ninepence, and they're identical cabbages. I don't know, some people likes being charged more. But I don't care who you are or what you pays, you won't get a finer nor a fresher egg than a lion egg. Well, you can thank my little mate for that, and his mate, the farmer. I've just been round to see old Tommy Jarvis, scoffing a great big plate of eggs and bacon he was. He says, here, he says, these lion eggs is smashing. He says, I wish they'd put a mark on women, he says, so as we could tell the good ones from the seconds. He didn't see his missus was standing just behind him. She put a mark on him, all right, I can tell you. But of course, there's no way of making sure of a woman, is there? But you can always be sure of an egg if that's got the lion mark on it. Well, you can thank my little mate for that, and his mate, the farmer. When I was a lad, old Granny Nelson used to come into the village shop and ask me for half a dozen eggs that had been laid by a buff Orpington. I don't know what chicken they was laid by, I used to say. She says, and I'll pick 'em out myself, I know. Ah, she did and all. She used to pick out the half dozen biggest in the shop. Now, when you goes for your eggs, you know, the egg marketing people have done old Granny Nelson's job for you. They've picked you out the best of the lot. Well, you can thank my little mate for that, and his mate, the farmer. Here, do you know, when I was a lad, I wouldn't look at an egg. I got it into my head I didn't like 'em. I used to drive my mother pretty nearly mad. Till one day I went on a school outing, and there they all was, scoffing hard-boiled eggs. So I thought I'd try one. And oh, that was lovely. I suddenly realised what I'd been missing. After that, she couldn't keep me off 'em. She says, here, she says, if you goes on like this, she says, you'll turn into an egg. I reckon she was about right, too. Anyhow, don't you be finicky. You eat plenty of lion eggs. I've just been arguing with the old colonel. He says to me, he says, what good do it do the eggs? He says, all this here testing. I says, what good do it do your recruits, Governor, when you test them? Oh, he says, got to test the recruits, he says, to separate the hay-1s from the C3s. I says, well, that's just what these egg marketing people do when they test the eggs. The lion eggs is the A1s. They got to be fresh and perfect, you know, before they get that lion stamp put on them. Hey, you can thank my little mate here for that, and his mate, the farmer. Her ladyship come down the shop the other day. She says, send me half a dozen eggs, she says, but not them with the stamp on, she says. So I ups and says, why not? She says, I'm not going to be regimented by a pack of civil servants. I says, civil servants? I says, the old egg board is made up of farmers, chaps like me. Could you see me regimenting anybody? That stamp simply means the eggs have been properly tested. Oh, she says, that's different. Ah, I says, and candled and graded and passed as perfect eggs. My little mate here sees to that, and his mate, the farmer. Here, let's give you a hand with that, sweetheart. Do you know a test for a really nice fresh egg? Eat it hard-boiled like that. And if that's a lion egg, that'll never let you down. Go on, have a go at it. Oh, I bet that's a lovely egg, isn't it?
No, it's not.
What's wrong with it?
No salt.
Oh, well, you better take some. She frightened the life out of me for a moment. But I needn't have worried. That's a little lion egg, and you can't go wrong with them, you know. Thanks to my little mate here and his mate, the farmer. Thousands of what you might think are lovely fresh farm eggs gets rejected every week by these egg marketing people. Not that they're bad eggs, but the slightest blemish fails them. Only perfect eggs gets that lion stamp, you know. So that means you're giving your family something really perfect. A lovely, fresh, tested egg. Well, my little mate here sees to that, and his mate, the farmer.
You can rely on the lion.